So you are ready to set up your LLC and you have no idea what you need to do in order to get that set up. Well, I am going to give you some information and tell you the things that you need to set up an LLC as well as what is needed to correctly operate the LLC once you get it. My name is Keisha Rondino. I am a real estate and business CPA. My goal is to educate you on tax strategies and tax planning so you can save on taxes, maximize your deductions, keep more of the money you make, and build wealth in your business and your investments. So if this is something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Well, all right, let's get into it. Setting up an LLC. So many people believe that setting up an LLC is basically filing one piece of paper and, hey, I have this LLC, so I am good to go. And truth of the matter is there is so much more that you need along with that one sheet of paper to effectively have an LLC and effectively operate an LLC. So let's talk about what those things are. So first, you want to decide on what name you want for your LLC and what is going to be the who's going to oversee it and who's going to be a part of it. So one of the first things you're going to do is determine what type of business, who are going to be the members, if it's only going to be yourself, where is it going to be based out of, and all of those things are reported in the state filing. So once you decide which state that you are going to set up this LLC in, then you are going to go to either the state website and determine what needs to be done in order for you to set it up. Many times I say that you can work with either an attorney or a CPA to ensure that you have all the documents completed correctly and that you have all information that's there. But if you're not willing to invest in that and you do it on your own, this is what's going to be required of you when you go to the state's website in order to establish your LLC. So you're going to need your business name. You're going to need to report what is the purpose of the business. Why is it that you are creating this LLC? You also want to have the business address available so you can report that within that initial filing. You want to determine who the partners are, who's going to be a part of the LLC. Is it just going to be one person? Is it going to be multiple people? As well as the ownership. So if it's just you, you're the only person that's going to be a part of it, then obviously you're going to have 100%. But if it is going to be multiple people that are members of the LLC, then you want to report that information to in the initial state filing. And again, you want to report who that registered agent is going to be, because that is documented at the state level also. So once all of the paperwork is completed through the state and you received your information, your certificate or formation saying that you have an LLC, the next thing you want to do is get an EIN with the IRS. And that is going to require you to fill out a IRS form SS4. You can either go online or you can mail it in and they will mail back the documents to you, but it is not a hard process. Once you complete the SS4, and if you do it online, it's even easier because directly from the IRS website, you put in all of your information, everything that they ask for. The SS4 is the document that's online. You complete it and then you instantly will receive a EIN number from the IRS once that is submitted online. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just a matter of you going to the website and requesting that EIN for that LLC. Once that EIN is established, that will be associated with your EIN. So as you do business under your business name, you will use that EIN in order to identify the business operations in the business itself. So another thing that you will want to have are operational meeting minutes. And so meeting minutes is when you and whoever are the other members of the LLC have a meeting to establish the regulations and the decisions of the entity. So when you make certain decisions, it should be documented, and all of the meeting minutes are put together and it's kept for permanent documentation as you operate your LLC. So you will have an initial meeting, organizational meeting. You will have the minutes from there, and then you will have ongoing meetings as well too, and they're all going to be kept together and kept on record for documentation that you have been operating your LLC appropriately. Another thing that you want to have to establish your LLC are corporate books. And corporate books is basically a professional binder that holds all of the paperwork and important documents that pertain to your LLC. It contains your member certificates, corporate seal. It also contains all the minutes from the meetings that you do have. If you have any like insurance paperwork or any other important documentation that pertains to the LLC and the partners itself, it is going to be included in those corporate books. And so you want that on hand, because when you attempt to do business under your LLC, someone may ask for your corporate books, and you just want to make sure that it's all in order and everything is there. So another thing that you want is operating agreement. So an operating agreement is an agreement that is in place to say this is what the LLC is established for, and this is how the LLC is going to be operated. So some of the information that goes into an operating agreement is the business name and address. You identify that within the operational agreement, the registered agent information, when the business was formed, as well as how long you expect for it to be in existence for. If there's a time frame on it, you want to put what that time frame is, or if it is going to be ongoing indefinitely, then you want to indicate that as well too. You also want to put into the operating agreement the member names, the roles that they may play, as well as their contact information. And so it can be clearly identified who is a part of this LLC. And even if there's one person that is a part of the LLC, you're the only person, that's fine. Your operating agreement is going to indicate that you are the only person, and you're still going to include all of the information. As you contribute to the LLC in the beginning, you want to have those contribution amounts in there in order to establish the LLC, as well as how distribution and profits are going to be dispersed within the entity. If there are any managers in the LLC, because LLCs can be operated by either members or managers. If there's managers, you want those people to be listed in the operating agreement so it can be clear on who the members are of the LLC and who the managers are in the LLC. Also, in the operating agreement, you want who has the right to vote, what their voting percentage is going to be, what it means when they vote, and how members are added or how they are removed. So it's very possible that when you first establish an LLC, you may establish it on your own, but you may decide that you want to add a member to that LLC. And so your operating agreement, it is going to document what that looks like and how that is going to work. So an operating agreement is very important. It is, once you create the LLC with the state, that is one document that I highly recommend that you have on hand, because it is required in situations when you're purchasing certain types of real estate or you're purchasing certain assets. The person that you're purchasing from, they want to ensure that if you're purchasing under a business name, that you are within the correct limits and rules and regulations for purchasing those items. So yes, you should have an operating agreement on hand. And another thing you should have on hand are the member certificates. I mentioned that earlier before, but specifically, member certificates are those certificates that list who the members of the LLCs who they are, as well as their percentage that they do have within the LLC. So it is an actual certificate that lists all of that information. So it is separated out from the operating agreement itself. So understand that all of these suggestions of what you should have when you have an LLC, they're not legal requirements, but I can tell you that if you are operating an LLC, you want to operate it the correct way, because the goal is for your LLC to work for you. If you ever need your LLC to work for you in the case that you have any type of liability maybe against you, you want to show that you've been operating it as a business, that this is not some hobby, and that you have taken all the steps to operate it appropriately as an LLC.